Rajiv ji, my name is Bharat Sharma and I'm a Hindu activist. The question is that Sheldon Pollock and his nefarious designs have been very well exposed over a couple of years by you, and yet Murthy family goes and funds him. Devdutt Patnaik has been exposed by you, and yet it gets he still gets all the pride slots. So we know the Breaking India book you mentioned. But in particular case of Narayan Murthy, is it something to do with his being on board of Ford Foundation, and is there something deeper that's not evident? Or
see, okay, that's okay. So I don't want to pick on any one person because he has a right to spend his money the way he wants. It's his money. He's made it honestly, and so he chooses to spend it this way. I mean, all I can say is whatever the motives may be, whatever the logic may be, I can analyze as a common citizen, I can analyze what I think are the consequences of funding that. How much harm, what can be done to fund it that way. Whether there are, what his life may be about in terms of what causes him to do all this, it's very hard to predict that. But certainly the globe-trotting billionaires, without picking on anyone, are really into wanting to be seen as sort of the new honorary whites. Okay, sitting at this very liberal white table, academic, you fund a couple of chairs and you fund some scholars, you become this learned person, and now you are in the limelight in the United States, and the who's who in New York will felicitate you, and your picture will come, you can send it back to your village saying, now I'm sitting with the white people also. So this complex we have this kind of complex. This complex to sort of be seen as having arrived on the global stage. These are the people who made it rich in this country. Then the next thing to do is to show that I have a very big yacht or have a very tall house in Mumbai or something like that. So maybe it is part of that complex. Maybe it is part of that kind of Americanization of the elite Indians is part of this, what these guys are doing. That's my sense of it. Yeah, go ahead, please.
I think one of the things that is not taken into account is that in America, these great universities were built by very great endowments that were made by their richest. Now, what has happened, globalization has given the sense to the Indian rich that they don't need to invest in Indian universities. It's just as easy to invest abroad, and their children can easily go there, and it's all part of this wonderful happy family that our global world is. That's why I want to sort of take this opportunity to say that it is extremely important that academics value location in research.
Yes.
The moment you produce a great work of research in an American university, whether in science or in the humanities, you are adding to the wealth of that university and that country. If our young people are not conscious of this and they think that it's all a wonderful happy family, it is not. Intellectual property is extremely important, and therefore location is very important. So Indian universities must produce great translations,
yes,
and for that students have to stay back and work here.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely correct. In fact, it has become the latest. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I started my foundation, I was giving grants to all these American places. I gave away all the money I could spare. Now I wish I hadn't, but I learned from it. And a lot of these people took my slides and why you should do this, that, and said, we'll help you raise funds, because I ran out of funds. And then by then I had switched and decided that this is the wrong thing to do. We have to invest in R&D and knowledge here. So now it has, unfortunately, I've turned loose this tendency, this fashion. Now it has become a fashion out of control. Every week or so you find somebody is given so many $1 million to fund a chair here, fund a chair there. And these people are not doing due diligence. They are not doing Purva Paksh to see whom they are giving money to, who's going to occupy the chair, what is his history. And so this, one of the reasons I started writing this book is that Sringeri Mutt was in the process of setting up a whole chair for Adi Shankara studies at Columbia University to be headed by these kind of people. So, it does matter, location does matter. And when I raise this issue, why aren't you taking all these millions of dollars and creating Adi Shankara chairs around India? I was told that, Indians are not as good at scholarship. This is what I was told. So, while we can be the IT hub for the world, and while we can be a hub for making automobile parts and making pharmaceuticals and all kind of other industries, we think we cannot be the Sanskrit studies hub of the world, which is very strange. That Sanskrit studies, we think others know better, and we have become the knowledge consumers. They are the knowledge producers. We are the consumers sitting at their feet. If the camera can zoom in on this, can you please zoom in on this? Isko zoom karenge, please. This book. If you look at the cover of this book, at the bottom, big image, is Sir William Jones and the Pandits. This is a huge carving on a wall in a chapel in Oxford. And it took me a long time to go in, get all the permissions and get the picture and all the high resolution. So this is, Sir William Jones said that and at the bottom it says, he gave the Hindus their laws. Okay, so he's shown writing some laws and dictating them, and these Pandits are listening to him, and he's telling them their laws, he's telling them the Hindu laws. So now, in this book I say that today, Sheldon Pollock would be giving the Hindus their human rights. Because the whole idea of exposing human rights in Sanskrit, human rights problems, and telling them how to liberate and all that. So if one were to do a carving, if maybe the Murthy family will one day sponsor such a carving, it'll be not only Indians, but they won't be sitting on the floor, they'll be sitting on sofas drinking whiskey, and they'll be the Indian elite, anglicized Indian elite. So Sheldon Pollock will be shown as teaching the Indian elite the human rights that they lack, and then there'll be another group of Indians writing checks and thanking him with a lot of money. So this is how the story of the British has shifted to control in the United States. This is a very important point.